It is Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. This is another off-season edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. I can only say that for one more show, and then
I
it's
feel
no
like we're in the
off
season, Chris.
Yeah, we are.
I don't know if this is the off season anymore. I think the off season ends in spring training, doesn't it?
I guess so. I
Maybe?
guess that's true. Plus, two teams have already played 2 games. So I guess it's
This is
technically,
true.
yeah, so it's not the off-season edition of Baseball Today.
It's
This
like
is
more of like the eve of the regular season.
Yeah, or double eve, I guess is
Yeah.
what we'll go with. All right, we got a lot of stuff to go to. We're gonna do some individual award predictions coming up in the first few questions of the show. So excited to let everybody know who's going to be winning the awards because we always nail those to a T. Probably not. Start off with a tip of the cap, though. Let's go over to the college softball world. Carolyn Pickens of the University of Tennessee threw the fastest pitch we've ever seen, 78 miles an hour. And if you're wondering, well, what does that equate to in the baseball world? I'm reading 109, 110 based on the 43-foot distance that she covered from pitcher's slab to plate.
Are
Whoa.
you sure it's 43 feet? Because Teddy is 9, throws from 48 right now, I believe, and it seems like it's right on top of the plate. You're talking about her throwing 78 miles an hour from even closer than that is insane. Nobody's hitting that. Don't let any baseball player tell you that they're touching that pitch. They're not.
Have you ever stood in against like a Division I pitcher or anything?
I don't know if she was Division I. I have stood in on someone throwing fast pitch, and you're just not ready. It's like, honestly, it's like blitzball. When you see a baseball player try to play blitzball for the first time, they just can't make contact. It's the same thing. I mean, you're just not used to the ball moving that way or coming from that angle necessarily. That's nasty.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy about college pitching? And I've realized this because Josh covers a lot of it for UCLA, which is one of the best programs in the entire country. He said they only carry like 4 or 5 pitchers on the entire team.
Softball pitchers?
Yes.
Yeah, because they'll throw 2 games in a day. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, they're throwing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pitches over a weekend because of the way your arms move. Like it's more softball. Yes, go ahead,
I
caller.
got a take right here. I think college softball is a much better product than college baseball.
I don't think you're going to get a ton of pushback on that, to be honest with you. College softball is great. I love watching the tournament. It's fun. It's awesome. When somebody does get a hold of one, you're like, damn.
I think I could just be a hater on college baseball.
Yeah, you are.
Maybe it's just a me thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I like college baseball too, so I'm not going to say I hate it, but interesting. All right, let's do some predictions if you don't mind. We're going to start off with the MVP, and I'm going to ask a question before we give our predictions and a sleeper pick as well. What would it take for you to not pick Shohei as the NL MVP?
Honestly, he'd have to get hurt. He'd have to miss a big chunk of the season. If he's on the field doing what he does, I mean, and doing both, I think that's always my caveat. Like last year, he hit his way into the MVP, 54-59, which has obviously never been done before. But if he's doing both, it's going to take a lot for me not to say he's the most valuable player in the National League. I mean, nobody else is doing what he's doing. We've had this discussion many times. So I guess my answer to that question would be he'd have to miss significant time this year. I can't really, I mean, we've talked about the numbers and the floor for those numbers. I think really it comes down to health with him.
Yeah, because he's never going to, certainly at this point of his career, he's not going to have a season as long as he plays at least 140 games where he hits 23 homers and has an ERA of 4.38. That's not who he is. So I don't know why in the world you would pick anybody else except Shohei unless you're gunning for him to miss a month of this. Like he would probably have to miss at least 6 weeks for him to fall out of consideration.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, right? Remember a couple of years ago, Mike Trout, what was it? Was it 2019 when he won the last of his MVPs and he only played like 130 games or something? And that was a big deal. I mean, if Shohei plays at least 130 games and he pitches 15 of them, he's winning.
Right now, he's plus 150 to win the whole thing. I've never seen numbers like that. Number one, I still think it's good value. Like it's going to happen, people, if he just plays.
Who's next, by the way? Soto?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got It's Shohei, Soto, Tatis
Huh.
for the NL.
All right. So why don't we give our National League MVP selections? Who are you going with?
I wish I would have had Tatis for this next question you're going to ask me. I didn't even really put him in there. It's Ohtani. Like, I mean, if we're being real here, he's going to win the MVP again unless he gets hurt. Like, this is this kind of player he is. And again, we talk about Ohtani a lot. But the fact that he does both at elite level is just, it's mind-boggling to me. Talk to anybody that's in a clubhouse right now, they're going to tell you Shohei Ohtani is the best player in baseball, and it's not particularly close. So it's Shohei Ohtani, Chris.
I can't pick against him. First of all,
I
I don't.
can't.
No, because we just discussed it that the only way he does it is if he gets hurt, and I don't even want to put that out in the universe. Although I think
We have our dark horse pick coming out. Okay,
Yeah,
people.
I guess that's more interesting. Who is your dark horse?
It's not that, like, I'm looking right now. He's fourth in the MVP odds, but it does seem like he's so far behind because we have Shohei. But I think this guy could take the next step, and he was incredible last year. It's Elly De La Cruz. Like, if there's one guy that, he's young, so like he needs to walk a little bit more, he needs to swing and miss a little bit less. Like, those things happen with time, but he has the intangibles, and he has the position, he has the wheels, he has the defensive prowess. Like, he does everything well. Like, if this guy goes and has his best offensive season, he hits 280 and his OBP is 380, then we're talking about he has a chance to win the NL MVP. And that's the things that are very feasible for a guy like Elly De La Cruz to do.
And one other thing has to happen. His Reds probably have to win the division.
I don't think so, Chris.
In order for him to be the MVP, you don't think so?
I don't think so. No, I think he could have the type of season. Man, what a good ballpark to have that in. I think he just is so all around and draws value from so many different places. He runs, fields, and hits. Like, those are the things. If he just cleans up and walks a little bit more, maybe finds some power because he's more selective at the plate, so he's getting himself into better counts. Like, that's all it's going to take for this guy. Like, mark my words, Elly De La Cruz is going to have an MVP at some point. Like, I don't even think that's a hot take.
No, I think it's fair. I think that's a good one. I'm going to go. You're in the right division and you're in the right age bracket. It's just the wrong guy. Jackson Chourio. I love what he brings to the table. If you look at his splits from first half to second half last year, remember he played the entire season as a 20-year-old. He just turned 21, I think, earlier this month. His second half, which consisted of 63 games, he had 33 extra base hits, an OPS over 900. I remember talking to Pat Murphy last year on the Rose rotation. He was just like, he said, we saw some of it in spring training. Now, there were times where we looked at him in spring training 2024, and we were like, huh. So the big deal about this kid is what? And then all of a sudden he hit one ball, and they were like, I think that's it. And he just took himself to a ridiculously new level in the second half of the year. For a kid, for your age 20 season to have a 117 OPS plus and a WAR of almost 4, 20 years old?
I talked to Yelich about this guy before, I guess it was before last season, and what he said, and it was almost facetiously, he said this. He's like, yeah, Jackson Chourio, this guy's supposed to be like the best player of all time. Like, he was saying, like, people talked him up like that. He's a veteran. He's seen guys that are supposed to be good not be good. I mean, we are all cynical in that way. But then I talked to him again this offseason, and we talked about the team, and one of the first people he mentioned was, Chourio's a stud. So, like, it got proved, obviously, on the field to Yelich.
All right, what about your AL MVP? Who is it?
I think we have the same one here, C. Rose. And yeah, obviously we're not going out on a limb, but I do feel like right now in the game, there are some like clear cut like picks for this stuff. And I'm going Bobby Witt Jr. Again, when you're looking at an MVP, you want a guy that can draw from, every facet. The guy plays banger D, he runs, he hits for power, hits for average. He does everything. Look at this season last year, dude. 171 OPS plus. He hit 332. And look, you cannot like batting average. That's fine. We don't have to draw a ton of value from that. But Let me tell you something about hitting 330 in the big leagues. It's crazy, and it feels so good. He must have just been showing up to the yard feeling awesome about himself last year, because when you get a hit every third at bat, nobody can tell you shit, Chris Rose. I mean, you can't tell anybody. So it's Bobby Witt for me.
Yeah, that's who I've got. I just feel like he's so good and so talented in so many areas. Defense, he's gotten better. Base running, he's a wizard out there, and he can help a team that's not a great offense manufacture runs. Oh, he can also drive himself in. There's just so much that he does. Now, there are people that are going to say, well, why aren't you going with Aaron Judge, for God's sakes? His last 2 full seasons, he's had a 10-8 WAR in each of them. He hit 60-plus homers one year and 50-plus homers the other year. Like, I get that. I mean, I think it's down between those two going in. I don't see anybody else that is making such a strong push. Like, I don't feel like I think Boston's going to be a good team, but it doesn't feel like Alex Bregman, even though he might hit 50 doubles in that ballpark, is going to be in the MVP discussion. I'm worried about how long Gunnar Henderson is going to miss. Maybe Vlad. I tinkered with that idea. He did finish runner-up a couple of seasons ago. I think on Minnesota, I think they've got a bunch of good ball players, but nobody there. Jose Ramirez, I'll pencil him in for a top 5, top 6 finish in the MVP. He's just never going to win one. I don't know what he has to do to win one, right? The guy goes almost 40-40, and his team shockingly wins a division, and he doesn't even get consideration for the award. So I don't know what he has to do in order to get it, and I don't think anybody else out west is going to give you such a great year or play enough games to take it away from one of those two guys, Witt or Judge.
I think Jose Ramirez has a chance. I think that voters have seen what the body of work, and they do consider that they will take that into consideration if he has a great year and maybe some other guys get hurt or whatever. If he's close, I think they will take that into consideration.
He's never going to hit. Let's say Judge does remain healthy and hits 51 home.
Yeah.
Jose's going to max out right around 40. I mean, I would be shocked if he could duplicate that power season. But my point is that
okay, what about a 40-40 season?
He basically had it last year.
I'm just saying, if he actually does it.
I don't know, man. I mean, their team shocked everybody last year. Nobody had them winning 90-plus games in that division going in with a rookie manager. Nobody did. So he had the team success, he had the individual success, and he wasn't close. And I'm not saying that he should have won it, but I'm just saying is that I don't think he could come. He doesn't have a 50-homer season in him.
You don't know that. They changed the third deck. We all know that. Aaron Judge does have the best odds, plus 300. Bobby Witt is matching him in a few different books, but Judge is the favorite. And look, he might even be better. He's gonna play right field. So I think I don't know. Did he get more defensive value because he was playing center last year?
Ooh, I think you probably do, but he doesn't play it at a high level.
Yeah, but if you're hitting 50 homers as a center fielder, I don't know. Obviously, Aaron Judge is a great pick for this. We're not Yankee haters, but I think Bobby Witt's just I think there could be another gear there.
Could be. All right, let's do a dark horse for this.
For the AL, I'm going with a guy that I think has become underrated because he had a pretty dang good season last year. I didn't really hear a peep about it. Corey Seager. Go check out his Baseball Savant. Like, he's still doing everything really, really well. He's blood red 90th percentile in pretty much every single category. He's getting up there in age, so maybe he'll start slowing down.
Getting up there in age.
He's 32.
But look at the games played. That's what concerns me.
He's got to play, but I think that people forget how good this guy can be because he can still pick it at shortstop. He's not going to run the bases, that's kind of where some of the value gets lost, but he's an incredible hitter with incredible bat-to-ball skills and has the slug, too. So if he goes off this year and the Rangers are who they think they are, I think there's a chance.
All right, I mentioned this guy's name last year as a potential top 5 talent in the American League, and I remember I got ripped in the comments. Ripped. You remember who it was?
Riley Green.
Last night in
Riley Green, dude.
Dude, look at this shot that he took off of Robbie Ray. Look at how far
that's for later in the show. Why are we showing that now?
Well, no, we're going to show it now because, damn, that's impressive. So last year he had almost 60 extra base hits, over 800 OPS, and he's still only 24. Now, he doesn't run either, but a 5.5 WAR a season ago. And once again, I think he's a guy that could be lifted up by team success, which obviously they had last year as a wild card. But if they win the American League Central, which we will give our playoff predictions on Wednesday's show, then I think that could take him into a different stratosphere as far as MVP discussion. I'm not saying that I'm going to pick them. I'm just saying if they win the division, then all of a sudden everybody looks to, well, who's the best player, everyday player? We know about Tarek Skubal as far as the pitching goes, but who's the best everyday player? And it's not close. He's it.
Why in my mind do I think Riley Green can run?
He can't.
That's crazy. Like I just watched something the Tigers were talking about who's the most athletic on their team.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people named Riley Green.
Oh no. Parker Meadows is
a lot of people named Riley Green 59th percentile in sprint speed. I think I was at some point right around a 59.
No, you weren't.
I swear, dude.
No.
I swear.
Thought you were not 59th percentile. Come on, man. You were a good player.
Okay, now I have to get it up just to say F off. But that's crazy. I don't know. For some reason in my mind, I'm like, this guy can go get it. Like maybe it's sneaky speed. It's not really fast, but it's quick.
All right, so there's our award winners. Go collect your money. Best of luck. Before we do Cy Young predictions, I want you to give us one guy to look out for that has never received top 5 votes in either the American League or the National League that you think has a chance to crack the top 5. Maybe not win it, but crack the top 5. It only has to be one guy.
I topped out of the 49th percentile in the StatCast era. Hey, they didn't have StatCast when I first started, when I was a young pup.
I'm not laughing at you. I love it that you have to sheepishly retract it.
I got a guy. I'm going to go Homer here, but I do think there is validity to this because a lot of I'll call them pitching nerds that I like to follow, Eno Saris being my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
They love this guy. It's Joe Ryan. And if you're a guy that can miss bats and not walk people, that's kind of like the goal as a pitcher. And the only thing that's really hurting him is that he does kind of live up in the zone. So he does give up some homers. So sometimes those numbers, man, like he'll just like make one bad pitch and a 3-run homer will happen. So like, I don't know what you do to combat that just because that's how he pitches. You know, his 4-seamer is great, ton of ride, kind of like a low arm slot, but he gets that shoot on it. So he gets a ton of swing and miss. Every once in a while, a guy clicks him, and because he lives up, a lot of fly balls, homers, all that stuff. But I think with some adjustments, with more time in the league, he's just one of those guys that doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. So I'll go Joe Ryan.
All right, I mentioned this guy, I think, on one of last week's shows, Spencer Schwellenbach of the Braves. Right, his teammate Chris Sale won it last year. We are all eagerly anticipating the triumphant return of Spencer Strider. Lopez was fantastic last year. And this guy, all you had to do was try and figure out how he spells his last name. Like, that's what we spent most time with him last year. He was really good. He had 15 starts once July started. He allowed more than 2 earned runs only 4 times. He was a guy that wasn't afraid. He's not an enormous strikeout guy. Over 1 per inning. Maybe that number gets a little bit better. I think he's a guy that is just going to end up dicing up some people. And you're not going to say, oh, my God, this guy's incredible. He's got the best stuff I've ever seen. But by the end of the year, you're going to look at his numbers, I think, from here on out, and you're going to be like, damn, man, that guy is such a solid middle to top of the rotation dude. And we never talk about him. So I'm going to talk about him right now. And I think he probably finishes 5th in the Cy Young voting in the National League. Okay.
I mean, he's going to have teammates like 2 and 3, and then he's 5. That'd be great for the Braves.
Yeah, I don't know what Strider's going to look like when he comes back. It might take him a little while, although he's looked pretty good in the spring.
Yeah, he's throwing the shit out of the ball.
I know he is.
I like Schwellenbach mainly because our guy Pete Moylan told us to like him early on, and he was right.
Okay, let's do some Cy Young predictions. National League.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think these are really easy, Chris. I'm going with Paul Skeens for my National League Cy Young. I mean, what is there to say if he had pitched well, I mean, it's tough because the guy in the National League won the Triple Crown last year, but wouldn't you say if he pitched another 7 starts that Paul Skeens might have taken it from him? Just
I
kind of
don't.
crazy to say, right?
Yeah, they kind of babied him a little bit down the stretch. By the way, I'm also going with him. For those of you that are audio only, I'm wearing my "Oh, We Are Family" Pirates lid right now, which is, I think, my favorite hat that I've got of all the
Dude, a
biggest teams.
5-9 WAR and 23 games started is just absolutely nuts. I
Yeah, but
mean,
here's something crazy for you. When you talk about Skeens last year, would he have won it? I don't think so, and here's why. He didn't record an out in the 7th inning after July 23rd.
that's not to his doing. I mean, that's
I
not
know.
his fault.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's still the decision makers. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's because of ineffectiveness. I'm saying they were watching the number of pitches. He never threw more than 107 pitches last year. This year, I mean, he's a beast. He's 6'6", 250. What are we worried about? Go out and throw the damn ball past everybody, bro.
I don't know what they're worried about. Like here's what you do. If you're a Pirates ownership, so Bob Nutting, listen up here. Go sign this guy to a deal. Give him what he wants. Get insurance on it. Okay. Like we just saw Garrett Cole get hurt and the Yankees recoup $27 million. So like just go do that. Like lock this guy up, make sure he's there pitching for you, get the insurance deal, and then go surround him with some players. Like that's all he wants. Make Paul happy. Make the people of Pittsburgh happy.
We talked about this. This was the main topic on yesterday's show. What do you think the contract would have to look like less than a year of service time in right now? If he put a contract, if Bob Nutting said, "Here, Paul, here's a contract," what number and years would make Paul Skeens sign?
So I don't think he'd want to give away a ton of free agent years, but he's going to have to. The Pirates wouldn't sign him unless they got some of his free agent years, right?
Mhm.
So we're talking 5 more years of control. Let's call those 5 years. Let's give him 5 years, like 75, right?
Because the last few years of arbitration with
He's going to
him,
get up there, but you're
he's
going
gonna
2
be really
years of
rough,
league minimum right now. So
right?
3 years of arbitration, call it 15, call it 25, and call it 30. How much does
I
that
think that's high,
add up
but
to? I have no idea.
I think that's high. I mean, that's 65, but I think that
Okay, so
sounds high.
I'm right on. Like 5 years, call it 5 years, 65, and then 2 free agent years valued at 30 apiece. So 7 years, 150? I think he'd sign that and be like, all right.
Do you think he would?
And then be able to enter the free agent pool in 7 years. He'd be what? I don't even know how old he'd be.
29. He's only 22.
Yeah, I mean, that's an enticing deal.
Wow. Let us know. You know
Maybe
what?
you give him an opt-out if you give him an opt-out after that first free agent year.
Throw it down below, and if he does sign an extension this year, we'll send somebody a free T-shirt if you nail it.
Can I say something? I'm so bad with contracts and numbers, so don't, like, hold me accountable for what I just said. I just was spewing numbers out of the top of my head,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, we haven't done the we're doing this on the fly, so we haven't sat down there and tried to figure out, well, this person got this, but
Also, Joe Ryan had a .987 WHIP last year. That if he would have qualified for innings, he would have been 5th in all of baseball. Don't sleep on Bailey Ober, by the way, who was 5th in all of baseball in WHIP last year.
okay, welcome to your Twins podcast. Yeah, I said I'm going with Skeens too. So it's American League. Who do you have? Scooble?
I do have Scoobs. I said this. We did a Cy Young draft with Eno Saris actually, and I just don't think there's a lot of competition necessarily for him in the American League. In the National League, there's a bunch of guys that could win it. I think that Scoobs is kind of like by far the best pitcher in the American League, especially with Garrett Cole out. So the other guys you're thinking of are like, maybe a Garrett Crochet, maybe one of the Mariners pitchers. But I think Scoobs, another Triple Crown winner, he's just at the top of his game, and I mean, he might be the nastiest pitcher in baseball right now.
Yeah, I think some people like Cole Reagans a lot,
Yeah.
maybe to surprise some people. People are begging for DeGrom to get back to that territory. I got to see him pitch a healthy 3 months before I put him in any sort of award consideration. Seattle, you have brought this up on the show, how different their numbers are on the road as opposed to home. And last time I checked, they are going to play 81 road games.
They are.
Houston, Fromber, maybe, possibly. I'll consider that. Doesn't feel like anybody on Baltimore's staff, which is exactly why I'm going with Garrett Crochet. It's crazy.
There's question marks there, Chris.
There are. The two guys I'm picking to win the Cy Young have combined for 55 major league starts. Skeens had 23, Crochet had 32. So I gave you that stat about Skeens not recording an out in the 7th inning last year after July 23rd. Try this one on for size. Crochet didn't record an out in the 5th inning after June. Now, a lot of that was because at the beginning of July, his name was being bandied about in trade talk, and so let's just be careful with him. And then the White Sox sucked so much, they were like, why are we having this guy just throw bullets? Like, let's keep him on bubble wrap. Maybe we'll get a huge haul in the offseason. That's exactly what happened. I will say this, too. Do you have any idea how many games Garrett Crochet lost last year as a starting pitcher?
Ooh, I think it's a lot. 12.
19.
It's a lot, yeah.
Can you I was shocked last night that he lost almost 20 games in his season. That is some hard shit to do as a starting pitcher, particularly when you're not in the game very long.
I would love to know, like, the runs per game for the White Sox last year when he was pitching. It's probably not very good.
I just love what he's doing, and, in spring. Oh, he did? God damn, so is that 19 in his career? What the hell was I looking at?
Did I get it right?
Yeah. Sorry about that, gang.
Oh, I didn't see.
Where did I get 19 from? Did I see that? Is that like in a
You mean
career or
career?
something? What the hell? Strike that from the record. God damn, I guess I didn't sleep well last night. Oh, that's what it is. It's his career. He's 9-19.
Okay.
I knew I wasn't nuts. Well, I am nuts, but that's my fault. I know everybody. We do. You don't have to write down there, dude. He lost 12 games. He went 6-12 last year. Whatever. I got it. Producer Dan came in our ear and
I don't think
said,
I saw it
"Hey,
on the screen, but
screwed
maybe
up."
I did, and it's one of those things where, like, I saw it and it was just in my head.
Oh, there it is. There it is. My fault. 19. So he's got 19 losses in his career. I was like, God damn, that seemed like a lot. Holy smokes.
I love Crochet, Chris. Obviously, the stuff plays. I think he's in a completely different place as far as, what is expected of him and what's expected of that team in Boston. I have them as the AL champs. So I'm very curious to see, like, what happens. Like, I want to know what the mentality is like. How's he going to do when we're getting into some big games? Yankees at Fenway, all these cool things. I think it's really exciting to watch someone like that go through that.
Once again, I apologize. I didn't mean to give him 19 losses in a single season. This is bad.
I mean, that wasn't far-fetched, if we're being honest. They were the worst team in baseball history last year.
Yes,
so.
they were. Yes, they were. All right, we'll continue on. And speaking of award winners, Mike Trout played his first home game last night since last April. And not surprisingly, he had everybody standing up and cheering.
There's a rocket off the bat of Trout, headed for the gap, headed for the wall. It's gone. Mike Trout with a laser beam of a home run in the 6th.
So interesting because I can't remember one Mike Trout homer where you're like, God damn, did you see him hit that ball 500 feet? Like, everything is just line drive, laser shot, perfect swing.
It's loud, though. It's loud. The sound off his bat, I believe he uses Old Hickory, which is kind of like an older bat company, but he's used it his whole career. I believe he still does. Maybe he doesn't, but it's loud. So good job, Old Hickory.
The question is it good enough for Mike Trout just to make it through the season health-wise, or do we need bigger expectations for one of the great players of our era?
So I think that Mike Trout actually has become underrated. People forget the guy with the 991 career OPS. 991 career. If you do that for one season, you're a god, Chris. We're talking about a guy that's done that throughout his entire career. So here's the thing about Mike Trout. You kind of alluded to it with the homer. By the way, that's a huge fucking shot right there. You kind of alluded to it. When I played against Mike Trout, laced him up against this guy. Okay. 2 MVP seasons, 2014, 2016, played against him. What I would tell people was, and this is in his heyday, this is when people knew he was the consensus number 1 player in all of baseball. What I would tell people was, man, I don't get it. Like, he would almost lull you to sleep with how consistent he was. So here's 2014. April, 6 homers, May 5, June 7, July 6, August 7, September 5. Like, he would just put up those numbers every single month. And it's not like he's putting, like, Can he put up a 12 homer month? Sure. But like, that's not like almost, it's not the kind of player he is. Like, he just shows up and every single day he's giving you a 1 for 3 or a 2 for 5 with a homer. Like, here's a walk. Like, he was just so consistently great. It almost lulls you to sleep. So if he does, Chris, get through a whole season, I guarantee we see an OPS in the 900s. I guarantee we see 30 homers. I guarantee, we are getting almost like a vintage Mike Trout. He just has to stay healthy. Like, he's still that guy.
Well, he hasn't played more than 135 games in a year since 2018.
I know, Chris. Don't rain on my parade. Let me think
I know,
about this.
but this is what we have to talk about. This is the bad stuff that we have to talk about. Now, and he even won an MVP a year later, right? Played at like 135 games, something like 134, whatever it was when he won it in 2019. And it was a little controversial, right? You miss almost 30 games. People are like, well, how can you be the MVP? But he ended up winning it. It saddens me to say that, yes, like it's good enough for him to play 142 games, and we'll see whatever the numbers are, just so that we can at least be entertained again, because it really does suck. And he is one of my favorite players of all time. I just never felt cheated watching him. The sport that rewards consistency, I never felt like his swing was out of tact, that he never felt like he was searching for something, which so many great players do at some point. Shit, I grew up where Cal Ripken weekly was changing his stance. Mike Trout has looked the same ever since he came up and became Mike Trout. You felt like when you were turning the TV on that all is well. And we just felt good about him. Now, interestingly enough, I'm going to visit Mike Trout today, as we're going to go record the second edition or second episode of Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. He'll be our full-length feature interview. And I kicked this around because people are like, well, we know he's an Eagles fan. We know he loves weather. What else you got for him? I just want to talk to, I've known Mike a long time. I just want to talk to him about some stuff. And I was thinking about this on the flight home. When we stopped in at the Newark airport to fly home the other night from Ball and Play 3, I go into the bathroom, and there's a guy standing at the urinal. So I need your opinion on this. There's a guy standing at the urinal, and he starts farting uncontrollably. Is that okay?
Okay. Where are we going with this show right now?
I'm curious. I want to know an opinion.
You're asking if it's okay to fart in the bathroom.
Nope. To fart at the urinal. Usually that's saved for the stall.
In the bathroom.
I know, but like when
I'd say yeah. Chris, where else is there to go? What do you want him to do? You want him to go into a stall, lock the door, fart, and come back out? You know the stall, it's not enclosed.
I was caught off guard.
The air is still available to everybody.
I was caught off guard. It wasn't like one little and that's it and move on. It was like a symphony was playing.
I think you're in the right spot, bro. I think that's where you go.
Okay.
Like if you're in line at Starbucks, probably not what you want to do. But if you're in the bathroom, like it's where you're supposed to do bathroom type stuff.
Where do you sit with this one? Is it okay to take your shoes off on a plane?
For some people, like if you got clean feet and like clean socks, I don't really care. But if you got like nasty, stinky feet, no, it's terrible. But here's the thing, Chris. What I was gonna say is in first class, yes, because you have your own space.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What about people that wear flip-flops? Are you out on that too? What's the difference? It's the same thing. It's actually worse because you have no socks on.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know. Dan Rourke, our producer, just said he takes his shoes off in economy every time.
I don't think it's that big of a deal to take your shoes off on a plane. First of all, you get inflated because of the altitude, so like you're kind of swollen a little bit. So some people need to do it. Just wear clean socks, and don't have stinky ass shoes on.
Okay, it sounds like people should visit Commentsville on this one. I need two things.
How did we get here, Chris?
Well, I was going to ask Mike Trout, I think, definitely about the shoe thing. I don't know if I'm going to ask him about the farting thing. I'll ask him about the shoe thing.
When do you think he was supposed to fart?
By the way, when do you think the last time Mike Trout flew commercial was? It's been a while.
It's been a while. He's got a lot of money. Although, one of my friends who has a lot of money, who we've flown commercial together before. It's hilarious. Hilarious.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think I have to ask him, don't I? Without embarrassing him?
Yeah, one time the guy that we're talking about, we were supposed to go. This no one cares about this. We're supposed to go on a PJ, didn't happen, so we flew economy down to Mexico. And this is a guy who is very well-to-do.
Made a lot of money.
A lot of money. He just put the hood on.
Interesting. All right, we'll move on. Byron Buxton, speaking of guys who are trying to bounce back from injury. Back-to-back spring training games where he's gone deep. Oh, he's looking good, man. OPS over 1,000, a one-dotter. His counterpart in the Central of the National League is Christian Yelich, who also has had some injury-plagued seasons as of late. A 1-1 OPS this spring. So which injury-prone outfielder more vital to their team's success in the upper Midwest?
So, I don't think I'm showing my Twins bias here. I believe this to be true. I think it's Byron Buxton. We saw the Brewers do it last year without Yelich in the second half. Obviously, he means a ton to that team, but they have more of a team identity than the Twins do. The Twins, I feel like, are still searching for like a team identity. They don't really have one. Like I guess you could say like their starting pitching and their bullpen, like it's very underrated. Maybe that's the team identity, but I don't know what it is. Byron, if he is in the lineup, it just creates a different feel in that Twins clubhouse. It hasn't happened a ton. If you have Byron and Royce and Carlos Correa playing in the same lineup, there's just a different feel. It feels like the team is complete. Now, there's other good players on the Twins roster, guys that can step up. They always go out and get Byron Buxton insurance. This year, it's Harrison Bader. But when he's healthy, he can be a game changer, and he hasn't been healthy a lot. So it's like when he is in there, it just feels really, really good. And the vibes around the entire organization are better when Byron is in the lineup. So I'll say Byron for this. Obviously, Christian means a lot to the team, but a healthy Byron Buxton would surely change a lot of things for the Twins in 2025.
Yeah, well, remember my dark horse MVP pick in the National League was Jackson Chourio. I don't have a dark horse MVP from the Twins.
Matt Wallner, don't sleep on Matt Wallner.
But he's not going to be an MVP. My point is that Christian Yelich is,
how about this?
Yes.
Book it right now. Matt Wallner gets MVP.
Hey, enough of the Matt Wallner. We'll have fine.
You just said he's not an MVP candidate. I guarantee you. I'm betting you right now he gets MVP votes this year.
MVP votes is what? Top 20? There's a big
top
difference.
20 player in the league. Is that bad? Now
no,
all of a sudden a top 20 player stinks.
Would you consider him a dark horse MVP candidate?
Depends what you mean.
No,
can he get top 10? Is top 10 good enough?
Yeah.
I think he can get top 10 votes. I think the guy could hit 50 homers, Chris.
Okay. Well, in that case, then maybe Byron Buxton's not that important to the Minnesota Twins. Maybe you're changing my answer.
Very important.
I still feel like it's Buxton. Even when he's only playing half a season, it feels like he's a 3-WAR player. I know he can't chase it down the way he once could. He can't run the bases the way he once could. He just has to be more cautious, but I'm going to go with that answer. Last thing, San Francisco. Impressive spring. Congratulations. You win the Spring Best Team Award, which means nothing, but it's good. Now, they've made some interesting additions in the offseason, right? Willy Adames, Justin Verlander, Robbie Ray for a full season now. How excited should Giants fans be? Let's do this one in about 90 seconds.
I think they should be pretty excited. Like, there's not a lot of holes on this team. They have a ton of starting pitching depth, which is really cool to see. They have some traditional starting pitchers. They have some untraditional starting pitchers. Their bullpen has a ton of different angles in it. They kind of found their closer last year. Maybe have 2 or 3 guys that could end up, late inning, high leverage guys. I like the bullpen a lot. The lineup is consistent. A bunch of guys with OPS pluses over 110. Like, is it going to be enough? Like, that's the thing. Like, I like this team a lot. There's just some teams in front of them that they're going to have to get through. And could they do it? 100%. Matt Chapman, dark horse MVP candidate. Let me tell you that right now. Go look at what he did. I think he had the second highest B WAR in all the National League last year. a couple guys go off, like, yeah, they're going to be right in it. So I'm in on the Giants. It's just there's teams in front of them I like better.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if they could leapfrog San Diego with their injury
Yes.
issues and how much they lost this year. I think
Yes.
it's a possibility. I still think that AJ Preller could end up doing some Preller-ish things before the trade deadline that could change our thought process. But I could see the Giants finishing third in that division and pushing for a wild card. So I would say you're excited. The infield's got some pop, man. You move Fitzgerald to second, Adames at short, Chapman at third. Late night Lamont, I think, is going to get most of the reps, it sounds like, at first. And he's not a great power hitter, but he's a good hitter when he's right. So, yeah, I think it's fun. And they got our buddy Logan Webb, who just pitches 200 innings and says, give me the ball every 5 days. I'm ready. I think they're good.
John Lee just came back.
Yes.
Yeah,
a little bit of a back MRI scare, but he came back on the field and tripped all over himself last night, which was kind of cute. Quick reminder, Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. It is a new show. Check it out. Mrs. Rose made an appearance. If you don't know exactly what it is, we have a long-form interview at the back end of the show. It's with Bobby Witt Jr., episode number 1. We also ask kind of fun, quirky little questions like this.
Did people yell at you? One time, and I told the guy, I said, it's 7U softball. Relax.
One day I was there. I have a glove, and the pitcher's gonna like warm up, and the catcher haven't come to home plate to warm up the pitch, and I did. And the guy was throwing. He didn't know that was there, and he threw the ball, and the ball like, whoo. It was crazy.
I was 16 years old because I just started driving, and the reason I remember it so well is there were 2 girls that worked there that I thought were really hot.
So appreciate it. Check it out. People had very nice comments. They were very kind. Mrs. Rose was a huge hit. She does these questions with the Queen. And I'm going to go talk to Mike Trout today and go get some new material. So we'll keep it going. It's going to come out once a week to begin with, and we'll go from there. Quick reminder, prediction show on Wednesday. We're going to tell you who's winning the World Series so you could take that money and listen to people who actually know what they're talking about and place it on them. What? Sorry.
Hey.
Oh, you got it a couple of years ago.
I did.
Yeah, you got Atlanta over Houston in 6, right? Rumor has it.
Hasn't been good since then.
That's okay.
Come on, Phillies. I pick you every year.
There's always hope. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our amazing intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We'll see you for Prediction Wednesday here on Baseball Today.